Hello, this is the first of a set of videos in Geogebra that's going to take you through some basic functions in it. But in this first video, I'm just going to talk about what Geogebra is and kind of an understanding of the layout. So Geogebra is a pretty great piece of software that can be used to do graphing as well as geometry work. If you type in a Google search for download Geogebra, you'll come to this site. There's two. There's the Geogebra graphing calculator, which is great, but we're actually interested in Geogebra geometry, and you can download that through whatever means you need, the App Store. And once you've installed that, if I if I search on my Mac for Geogebra and I pull that up, I should see something like this. It just takes a second to load up. So this is Geogebra. Let's just talk about a couple things that are important to understand. I suggest if you do have a mouse with multiple clicks, it's a little easier, especially if you're learning how to use this. So if you have a mouse with more than one button, that's really good. So let's just talk about an overlay here. So along the top here, we have various common tools that you might use. One thing to note with each of these tools is that there's a little arrow in the bottom right hand corner, and when I select it, it drops down and gives some other tools that are similar to this. So I could, for example, want to place a point on the graphics, so I could put a point, and you'll notice that when I put a point, I get some information in this algebra window here. I could add another point. I could add another point. But if I take this, I can drop this down, and I could do something like midpoint to center. I could do a number of different things that are surrounded around points. Likewise, I could select this and I could draw a line. So there's a line, and you'll notice that when I draw this, it gives me the equation of the line here in the algebra window. Now I could draw another line. So here's the equation of my other line. But I might select this, and I might want to do a line segment. So there, if I select that, there's my line segment. And you'll notice that what it does is nice, is it actually kind of breaks up into different groups, the different elements, or the different objects, we'll call them. That's a really useful word to use, that you've drawn on the screen. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to delete all these for now. There we go. So this is the top where we have these kind of our basic tools. One of the things that often happens when students are using this, and adults, is they'll do something like, they'll draw a line. So there's my line, and then they'll want to move the screen around, but they'll forget that they've actually selected the line tool. So they'll start to draw another line. If you hit escape, you'll stop. So when you've drawn something, Geogebra just assumes you might want to use that same tool again. So remember, you might have to come up to the selector tool, or if you want to move around, you can select the move, and you can move your screen around. So lots of different things here. So I talked about this. This is your algebra window. This is kind of collects the algebraic representation of the different objects that you create on the screen. This is your graphics window, which has your basic Cartesian plane. And then another window, if you come up here in view, you can open a whole bunch of windows that are useful depending on what you do. Most of them we don't actually really worry about. The spreadsheet window is pretty useful. So this is a spreadsheet, and I can do some spreadsheet work. The spreadsheet is not nearly as robust as something you would see in Excel or Google Sheets, but it is useful, and it can do a lot of the things it can do. But what's nice about it is that work you do in the spreadsheet can be carried over into these other elements. Notice that when I select a different window, the tools along the top change. So when I'm in the spreadsheet, I get some tools that are spreadsheet related. When I select algebra, I get the tools that the algebra is related, which is quite nice. Okay, the last thing I want to kind of talk about in this video is I want to talk about this input bar down here. So this input bar is a nice way of adding different commands. So if I'm just going to delete these objects again just to kind of clean things up. So I can type a bunch of things in here. I can type a line directly, y equals 3 over 2x plus 1. I can draw the line. I can do things like x squared plus y squared equals 5, which gives me a nice circle. And there's a lot of built-in functions here. I could do something like I could write intersect. And notice as soon as I start typing things in, it kind of helps me. Intersection, and I'm going to do intersection of C, comma F. Oh, that's intersection. Maybe it's intersects. Intersect. So here's my function called intersect, and I can pass it two objects. So the object I can pass it is C and F. Again, understanding how this specific function works right now isn't important. I just want you to understand where that input bar is. So I'm going to say intersect C and F. And look at that, it pops up those 2 points that give the intersection of those two objects on the screen. So I hope this video helped. In the next video, I am going to show you how to add a couple elements that are going to be really useful. Have a great day.